maybe an aunt, an uncle, a friend. Think of somebody that in your life that lost years of their life as they aged, or they lost the life from their years, right? Think of that person that you know that they just didn't age well. They suffered. They were not on a good track. They were in and out of the doctor's office, just miserable. For me, when I think about that, the main person that comes to my mind is my grandma Barb. My grandma was the most wonderful lady. She was always full of cheer. She was the kindest person, always had a smile on her face, but her body was always in chronic pain. She was riddled with arthritis in her knees and in her hips. The last 15 years of her life, she could hardly walk because of her chronic pain and her arthritis. And going to the doctor, it was, well, here's arthritis pain medication and Celebrex and all these things, but it never fixed the inflammation that was driving these issues in her body. And what happened is that I believe that she died 10 years earlier than what she should have, because of this chronic inflammation that drove diseases like cancer and heart disease in her body. And so that's what I want to make sure is that we don't end up going down those roads, right? The average American today, a study came out and they said the average American today spends the last 12 years of their life in poor health. That's what the average American ends up. The last 12 years of their life, your golden years in poor health. And I think about that. We want to be thriving as we age. God created us to be whole, to be perfect, and as long as there is breath in our lungs, there is a purpose for our life. And we're here to have health and have abundant life and have it to the fullest. And we can't do that if we're sick, suffering, or dying early. So let's start with the truth. The truth is you're not broken. You don't need to be patched up, medicated, or managed. You need to be freed from the blocks that are keeping your body from doing what it's designed to do, which is to heal and renew and to thrive. So you're not supposed to hurt all the time. You're not supposed to be tired, and you're not supposed to be on medications. If you're experiencing this, you're not broken, you're just blocked. And the reason is because you have inflammation in your body. But we are made to age with clarity, strength, energy. That's not just wishful thinking. It's our design. But most people never get to experience that because their body's under constant attack from something they can't see, and that is this chronic inflammation inside of our bodies. So unlike a sore throat or a sprained ankle, that's the kind of inflammation that screams at you. This inflammation simmers beneath your surface, and it's called silent inflammation. The most times you don't feel that happening in your body. But here's the empowering part, is that the inflammation isn't the problem, it's the signal. There is a cause to this inflammation, and it's your body trying to give you a warning sign, trying to tell you that it needs help, that it's not functioning the way that it should. But this inflammation in our body, this chronic inflammation, it disrupts your hormones, it fogs your mind, it zaps your energy, and it sets the stage for disease to build in your body. So I want to get real for a second, and the thing is that you're not just tired, you're not just getting older, and it's not just life. I hear that all the time. You know, it's like we just kind of accept, like, I'm just getting older, that's just how I'm going to be. But you may feel older than what you are because something deeper is going on inside your body. And a lot of times it's not age, it's inflammation. And right now, 3 out of 5 deaths globally are tied to diseases rooted in chronic inflammation. That's heart disease, that's cancer, that's neurodegeneration diseases. Diseases that interfere with our body's ability to live a full life and to live our full life and beyond. So, but get this, we're spending $365 billion a year to manage inflammatory-based diseases in our body. $365 billion a year. And that's not healthcare, it's symptom management. And what's even more shocking is that 90% of what we blame on aging, fatigue, brain fog, stiffness, mood swings, it's actually inflammation. That we could feel a whole heck of a lot better than what we could even imagine if we got rid of this chronic inflammation in our bodies. And that's why you're here tonight, not just to understand that, yeah, we have a problem with chronic inflammation, but I want to teach you how to finally break the cycle and how to really start to remove those root causes of why we have chronic inflammation. And instead of silencing the signals with medications or drugs or just chalking it up to old age, how to start to feel younger and actually heal. So we want to meet the villain. The villain is, if you don't know by now, the villain is chronic inflammation. Not all inflammation is bad. We have acute inflammation, it's a great thing. That's what happens when you have a cold or a flu or a sore throat or a sprained ankle. Inflammation comes in to help heal the body and repair the damage. But what the problem is chronic inflammation. And that shows up in our body when we're chronically exposed to stressors. These can be chemical stressors, these can be toxins, these can be through our diet, these can be emotional stressors. And that starts to feed and cause this inflammatory response in our bodies. And what it does is that it leads to an increase in your white blood cells, cell changes, and eventually it causes tissue and organ damage in your body. So chronic inflammation plays a major role in chronic pain syndromes and health issues like diabetes, Alzheimer's, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and even autoimmune conditions. So, and with this, the truth is that chronic inflammation, it silently attacks like this foundation of our health inside of our cells. It breaks down your tissues, it disrupts your organs, and it causes an exhaustion of your immune system. So what symptoms have you just written off as aging? Is it your daily crash at 2 o'clock? Is it, being bloated after meals and just thinking, well, my body just don't digest as good now, I'm getting older. Or as you get up from, sitting, oh, I've just been sitting too long, that's why I can hardly stand up, right? And so these aren't just age, they're the warning signs, they're kind of the red flags that your body's giving you. And the thing is, you want to listen to your body when it's whispering and it's trying to tell you. Because if you don't listen to the whisper, the roar's coming down the road, and that's going to show up as a heart attack, a stroke, a cancer diagnosis, Alzheimer's, things like that. So unresolved chronic inflammation will cause major issues for you downstream with that. So these are the impacts of chronic inflammation on the body. So chronic inflammation in the brain can cause memory loss, cognitive decline, ADHD, depression. Chronic inflammation in your arteries can drive heart disease, plaquing in the arteries. What they found is that actually high cholesterol itself does not plaque your arteries and cause heart attack and strokes. But when you have high cholesterol along with a lot of chronic inflammation, that combination is what's really driving heart disease. So the inflammation is more of the issue. Chronic inflammation in certain parts of your body, certain cells can drive cancer to form. If it's happening in your muscles, it can cause sarcopenia or a loss of muscle mass as you get older. It can cause accelerated aging, as well as, like I talked about, fatty liver disease, weight gain, and then mobility, joint pain issues, any itis, arthritis, tendinitis. That's all inflammatory driven in our bodies. So how is inflammation treated? It's treated with what are called non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs. There are over 24 type of different NSAIDs. These are things like Advil, ibuprofen, Aleve, aspirin, Celebrex, meloxicam. And these medications, they work by blocking what are called COX-2 enzymes in the body. These are responsible for producing prostaglandins, which actually create inflammation in the body with your immune system. The problem is that these prostaglandins don't just create inflammation, they also control your blood flow. they control many other parts of your body. So when you mess with that and you block that, what happens is a whole lot of problems downstream. So NSAIDs increase your risk of fatal heart attack or stroke. They increase your risk of GI effects. They're very damaging to your gut lining. So you can have things like diarrhea, bloating, constipation, issues with your stomach and intestinal bleeding. And they can cause deadly kidney and liver disease. So when they look into NSAIDs and how they're really affecting American health, is it close to 1 million hospitalizations a year are as a result of the effects of NSAIDs. And they're killing about 165,000 Americans annually are dying from the bad effects of taking NSAIDs long term and how that's causing other parts of their body to have issues. So, but the reality is like the inflammation isn't the problem. You could take an NSAID to cover it up, but that's not the problem. The problem is, why are you having inflammation? What's causing it? And I think about it like we have a tack in our foot. You know, if you have a tack in your foot and it's causing tons of foot pain, you could take a ton of aspirin to try to numb out the pain. But the reality is like, you could take so much aspirin that you may not feel the pain, but yet, what's the problem? The tack. You got to take the tack out. It's the same thing with inflammation, is that you got to really find out, well, what's causing this inflammation? I don't just want to cover it up. You need to remove the source of this. So why is this system failing us? Let's talk about why so many people are still suffering despite having access to doctors and specialists and endless prescriptions. This system isn't designed to heal you. It's designed to manage you. So you walk in with fatigue, joint pain, migraines, and what do you get for these issues? Pills for each symptom. Maybe one for sleep, maybe one for pain, maybe one for mood, and maybe one to counteract this, work to counteract the effects of the other medications, right? And that's not healthcare. It's like symptom suppression, and it is failing us. This system is failing us. We don't have a medication deficiency. That's not our problem. We actually have a lifestyle overload. And we are overloaded with a lifestyle that's filling our bodies with stress and toxins and processed food and inactivity. And the problem isn't we're not lacking another prescription. We got to really dive into getting our bodies healing and getting them healthy from the inside. And deep down we know this, right? We all know this. And you guys have felt the frustration of doing all the right things and you still don't feel right, or going to these appointments to doctors and leaving with no answers, and just here's another refill. And but this is why I'm teaching you guys this tonight, is because the medical doctors, what they're doing isn't working, and it's only making you sicker. And I want to teach you how to not end up like everybody else, and how to not go this route of just endless medications with your body. That doesn't work, and it's not the solution. What if tonight I could give you guys a blueprint that would radically change your life and massively increase your chances of living a life that you were created for, without drugs, without surgery, without chronic pain, and not living the last 12 years of your life in assisted living or in and out of doctor's offices. Raise your hand if you guys would want that blueprint. Yeah, right? Everybody awake? I see some eyes closing. It's not just aging, you're inflamed. So raise your hand if you want that blueprint, right? We all do, right? And one of the best things about tonight is a lot of the things I'm going to teach you that you can do, they're free. And the things that I'm going to share with you that aren't free, most of you guys are already doing. You're chiropractic patients, you're getting your adjustments. A lot of you guys are taking the supplements that we recommend are good for your body. That's the easy part, is a lot of the stuff is free, but just because it's free, that doesn't mean it's easy, right? You still got to do it. This is how we do it. I want to go through these 5 steps when it comes to inflammation, and these are what we call the 5 essentials. Each one of these essentials, these 5 tools, help your body fight and heal inflammation. But here's the key, that each of these 5 areas, they are essential to your health. It's like the tack in your foot. If you have 5 tacks in your foot, it doesn't do you much good just to remove one, because you still have 4 more that are creating the pain and driving the problem. So you can't just be a chiropractic patient and get adjusted and not work on your nutrition. You know, you can't just do your adjustments and eat good and not exercise. All of these areas are essential, and you got to look at all 5 of these areas and focusing on improving each one. And if you're falling short of achieving your health goals, chances are it's because you're not focusing on one of these areas. It's still lacking. You're not working on one of these essentials. So before you leave tonight, you really need to self-evaluate and kind of see which of these essentials is my biggest gap. What is the area that I really need to work on immediately, but ultimately you want to be working on all 5 of these areas, and that's what we're going to be going into. So essential number 1, eat to heal. Everybody say eat to heal. Eat to heal. Every decision that you make throughout the day, it's either increasing inflammation or it's decreasing inflammation. And this is where we start to regain our control, right? Because one of the most powerful tools for healing inflammation is something that you do every single day. What do you think it is? Eat. You eat. And so, but here's the shift. We can't just think of food as fuel, right? We have to think of it as food is information to our bodies. And every bite you take sends a message to your cells that either says inflame or heal. Every single bite that you take sends a message to your cells and to your brain, either inflame you or heal you. So when you go home tonight and you have a snack, you need to ask yourself, is the food I'm eating or the beverage I'm drinking, is this increasing or decreasing inflammation? And whole foods, God-made foods like fruits and vegetables, good quality protein, fiber, healthy fats, these are naturally anti-inflammatory. They send messages of healing to your cells, and they help to decrease inflammation in your body. But processed foods, chemical-laden foods, sugar-packed foods, lab-created foods, they do the opposite. Every time you eat these foods, they send messages to the body that create inflammation at our cellular level. They spike your blood sugar, they damage your gut lining, and they feed this chronic inflammation and ultimately chronic disease in your body. So if you've been eating what the food industry sells as normal, then your body isn't broken, it is majorly inflamed. And it's reacting exactly the way that it's supposed to from what you're putting in it every day. It's just trying to protect itself. But the good news is, you can change the messages that you're giving your body. You have a new opportunity every time you take a bite, every time you have a meal, to start to fill your body with foods that help to heal, restore, and create a thriving environment inside of your body. So diet plays a major role when it comes to inflammation. An inflammatory diet is low in nutrients. It's one of the main causes. It's our modern day diet that we eat. And it creates cytokine release in your body, which affects your immune system, and then it triggers this chronic pro-inflammatory release of these cytokines that just keeps driving the simmering, this chronic inflammation. But the good news is that diet also plays a major role in preventing and reducing inflammation. It can go either way. So you can use it as one of your biggest assets for health, or it can be one of your biggest detriments to getting healthy with that too. So we need to understand that high sugar isn't just empty calories. The bowl of ice cream you eat, the can of soda you have, the cupcake that you eat, it ignites inflammation and it fires it at the cellular level every time you eat it. One study published, the one that's up there on the screen, it was in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, and they measured, in this study, men, their levels of CRP, or C-reactive protein, which is an inflammatory marker in your blood. And men, when they consumed moderate amounts of sugar-sweetened beverages, their CRP rose between 60 to 109%. It more than doubled when they increased the sugar in their diets and they drank sugary sweetened beverages. So that's what your body's signaling you every time you reach for a soda, a bakery item, a processed snack. You're not just getting a sugar fix, you're fueling inflammation that damages your hormones, disrupts your cells, and it accelerates aging in your body. So sugar does drive what we call inflammaging, which is accelerated aging from inflammation. And one of the big ways it does it is that sugary foods create a product called AGEs, which is advanced glycemic end products. These AGEs actually attach to your telomeres and they cause them to shorten. And they also break down your collagen and your elastin. So when you eat sugar, it's actually breaking down the collagen and the elastin. So it makes you look older than what you should. It makes your skin have wrinkles. It deteriorates your joints with arthritis. And it literally starts to age you at a rapid rate in your body. So these are hidden sugars. You guys can get this list off anywhere. Just look up what are all the forms of sugar in products, and you're gonna see there's tons of them. And the reality is we don't have all these forms of sugar in our pantry, but these are coming a lot from your package, your processed foods, cereals, breads, crackers, sauces, dressings. They add a lot of these added sugars into almost all of our food products. So these are your top pro-inflammatory foods, the things that drive inflammation. So I already talked about sugar, and then just as bad can be refined carbohydrates. White flour, white bread, white pasta, they are just as bad as sugar when it comes to driving inflammation in your tissues. Buns and bread and things like that, they're gonna drive inflammation. Conventionally raised meat and dairy, I'm gonna dive into that a little bit later. Farm-raised fish and seafood can be inflammatory. You wanna stick with wild-caught seafood and not farm-raised. Processed conventional meats, especially deli meats, can be very inflammatory. Baked goods, anything that uses trans fats, margarine as well. Highly processed vegetable and seed oils are very inflammatory. Those are going to be in a lot of the food products, and artificial sweeteners as well too. So the other one I didn't talk about, gluten, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time diving into gluten and why it's an issue when it comes to chronic inflammation in your body. So gluten, the wheat that we consume today, which is where we get most of our gluten from, is coming from a modern wheat. It is not the wheat that our ancestors ate. That wheat was more of what they call an einkorn wheat. And that ancient wheat was completely different. The wheat that we consume in our products today contains a super form of starch called amylopectin. It's super fattening for the body. It contains a super form of gluten that's very inflammatory to our gut, and it can drive gut issues, leaky gut, digestive problems, and it drives chronic inflammation, and it's super addictive. They formulate it to be that way. And so, you know, your daily bread is not what it used to be 100 years ago, and it's very inflammatory to our bodies. So gluten is something that you really want to work on cutting out of your diet. And I recommend cutting out, if you cut out wheat, you cut out most of the gluten out of your diet as well too. If you want to buy einkorn wheat, grind it, you know, make your own bread, even sourdough it would be amazing. And that type of bread could be very beneficial for you. But most of the bread that we're grabbing at Kroger or Meijer is not that. It's going to be loaded with other junk. This is a food label from a loaf of bread. This could be any loaf of bread. Chances are it's probably the loaf of bread that you bought at the store. And we see enriched wheat flour, which is processed wheat flour, And then we see some B vitamins that they added into it, water, yeast. But then what's the next ingredient you see that's added to the bread? High fructose corn syrup, added sugar, a very bad form of sugar. And then what's salt, and then what's the really next bad thing you see? Soybean oil, super inflammatory oil. And then some other preservatives in there as well, chemical preservatives. So very inflammatory. If you're having eggs in the morning, great. But if you're having 2 pieces of toast with it, not so good when it comes to your inflammation with that as well. So this is another thing, is added sugars. This is Heavenly Hunks, these little oatmeal bites. They're organic. Get them from Costco. They have oats in them. They're gluten-free. But yet you look at the ingredients, you see tons of different forms of sugar in those ingredients. And one little square has 9 grams of added sugar. And that's a lot per that. So these are like heavenly inflammatory hunks in the body. So you want to remove the problematic gut foods. So main thing that I would love you guys to all leave here today is just focus on removing the grain wheat. You know, start with that. And it's really, the thing is, it's not as hard as you think it is. It's really not. It's easier today than it's ever been because there are so many grain-free alternatives. So up on there you see these grain-free tortillas. They're made with almond flour. The bread, that base culture, is made with like nuts, almond flour, seeds, flax, eggs. Doesn't have any wheat in it. Doesn't even have any grains in it. And then they have seed crackers that don't have any wheat in them. Jovial has grain-free pastas where they use brown rice, or they use cassava flour or chickpea flour. They can use all sorts of things besides wheat, and there's so many of these products at every grocery that you can reach for instead of reaching for the wheat products. This is one that I found. Is a sourdough bread. When you sourdough bread, it actually breaks down a lot of the gluten in the bread itself. And then this bread is made with spelt flour, which is also lower in gluten. And then they sourdough it, so it has very low levels of gluten. And so you can find these products, and it's really not hard to cut out the bread and the pastas and things like that. So here's 3 steps to healing your chronic inflammation. Number 1, reduce or eliminate the sugar and grains. We've kind of hit that already, right? Number 2, we want to rid our bodies of bad fats and add in more healthy fats. And then number 3, you want to change the meat that you eat. So eliminating the following foods from your diet, like refined sugar, grains, they spike your blood sugar, they spike your insulin, they drive chronic inflammation into your body. So pasta, bread, pizza, crackers, fried foods. Fried foods are another one that drive chronic inflammation. And you want to watch out for high sugar condiments like ketchup, mayonnaise. Most mayonnaise has soybean oil and added sugar in there. And then fruit drinks and sodas. A lot of deli meats add sugar, and then things like ice cream, we obviously know, but also things like yogurt can have a lot of added sugar as well in there too. So what to eat instead? You want to eat plenty of fruits and vegetables in your diet. One of the best ways to support your body's natural detox pathways and to knock out inflammation, eat more fruits and eat more vegetables. And then you want to also work on eating protein, good healthy proteins, and fiber at each meal to help lower your blood sugar and also help with inflammation as well too. Omega-3s reduce your inflammatory markers by 25% when you add omega-3s into your diet, either through the foods that you eat or through supplementation through things like omega-3 fatty acids as well. So these are good fats, bad fats. The bad fats are things like canola oil, soybean oil, peanut oil, safflower, grapeseed oil, margarine, cottonseed oil, and hydrogenated oils. Who has a big thing of safflower oil on their counter that they cook with? Nobody does, right? But safflower oil is in tortilla chips. It's in potato chips. it's in popcorn. It's in all these like packaged food. They use soybean oil, safflower oil, these very cheap inflammatory oils they use in the products. You can find products that use coconut oil, that use avocado oil, these healthier oils, but you got to buy brands that maybe you haven't been used to buying. Because most of the brands that we've grown up with, they're the brands that have the junkiest stuff in them with that too. So good fats are things like butter, tallow, ghee, coconut milk, coconut oil, avocado oils, olives, olive oils, fish oils, and eggs. These are really beneficial, healthy fats that help to calm inflammation as opposed to create it in your body with that. So a lot of these bad fats found in crackers, breads, buns, sauces, dressings, and coffee creamers with that as well. So it is hard to find a bun that doesn't have soybean oil in it. Almost impossible to find that in the store. So healthy fats, these are the things that you really want to work on increasing in your diet. Fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, herring, sardines. Omega-3 fatty acids are also really high in flax seeds and chia seeds and walnuts. And pasture-raised eggs are also really high in omega-3 fatty acids as well. The meat that you eat. The meat that you eat can either create inflammation or it can help to negate it and actually fight it. If you're eating most what we call conventionally raised meat, that eats a lot of grains, that eats corn, that eats, just any type of grain formula, their meat contains much higher amounts of omega-6 and much lower amounts of omega-3s. So the higher the amount of omega-6, the more it drives chronic inflammation in that animal, in that meat, and also in our bodies. So grass-fed meat has a ratio of omega-6 to omega-3s 2 to 1. 100% grass-fed, start to finish, has 2 to 1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3. It's a really good source of omega-3s. But conventionally grain-fed meats, that can be as low as 17 to 1. So 17 omega pro-inflammatory 6s and as low as 1 omega-3s. So this is why it's important to change the meat that you eat. You want to buy grass-fed beef or lamb, free-range organic chicken, because it's much better for your body. It has higher omega-3s and it's not inflammatory to our bodies with that. Same thing with dairy. You want to go towards grass-fed dairy, is much higher in omega-3s and beneficial fats in your body as well. So here's 10 superfoods that you can write down to try to increase in your diet, to try to add these good fats in. Salmon is great. Wild caught fish, wonderful. Broccoli, such a good superfood. It's great for detoxing as well. It helps your liver to detox. Nuts, great food for your body. Walnuts, almonds, Brazil nuts, macadamia nuts, cashews. They're all really beneficial for the body. Berries, great for the body. Super high in antioxidants, really high in fiber, very beneficial for fighting inflammation. Free-range eggs, coconut products, coconut milk, coconut flakes, coconut oil. Olives, just snacking on olives is a wonderful snack for your body. Super high in good fats and very beneficial. Avocado is another really great thing. Any type of greens is very beneficial. And then like grass-fed beef or lamb would also be really, really good for the body. These are what we would consider great superfoods to help heal inflammation in your tissues. Other foods that help to nourish and protect you, I gave you this in your handout. So one of the pages I gave is this slide. And so it goes through kind of some of the best foods that help to heal and nourish your body. So it goes through the fruits and the vegetables and the nuts and the legumes, things like beans and chickpeas and lima beans and lentils, whole grains like quinoa, barley, buckwheat, millet, and brown rice. And then dairy products, whether it be goat or cows, but you want to look for grass-fed. Meats, really good quality meats in there, your poultry, your eggs, condiments, things that are good for you. And then herbs, spices, what are the best natural sweeteners? That's on your list as well. Stevia would be great. It doesn't raise your blood sugar. It's a natural plant-based sweetener. And then also in certain amounts, raw honey would be fine. A little bit of maple syrup, also a better option. And monk fruit is another plant-based sweetener that doesn't raise your blood sugar with that as well too. But in moderation. Even you can overdo it on honey and maple syrup and still get way too much sugar in your diet as well. And then beverages, water, tea, kombucha, bone broth, organic coffee, sparkling waters, but you want to make sure they don't have a lot of added flavorings, artificial flavorings in there as well too. And there's a lot. So the thing is, don't focus on what you can't eat. Focus on all the good things you can eat, right? Think about all the good things that you can eat. Don't focus on the one or two things that you can't. Focus on all the good. And I think that in life, like, if you focus on what you don't have, like, you're not a happy person. But if you focus on all the blessings that God has given you, you know, you're such a happier person. And the same thing is with our food, right? We need to focus on all the good foods that God has given us to eat, and not the few things that we just want to hold on to with that too. So I gave everybody in your handout a 30-day inflammation detox. So I would love it, your body would love it, your future self would love it if you would commit to this 30-day inflammation detox. So it is the 3 no's. So during this 30 days, we're 3 no's that we're focusing on. Read them out loud, everybody.
No sugar, no red food, no bad oils.
Right? Only 3. That's not bad. Right? And then the 3 yeses. Yes to 3 to 5 servings of fruit a day. Yes to 3 to 5 servings of veggies a day. And yes to healthy protein and healthy fats in your meals as well too. And so I gave some good smoothie ideas in there, some good breakfast ideas, eggs, omelets, a grass-fed yogurt with fruit and nuts, a grainless granola, and then lunch and dinners like salads with a healthy protein, a grass-fed burger with roasted veggies or cauliflower rice, homemade soups, salads, any advanced plan recipe. So behind that page, I did a 2-week sample meal plan for everybody. So it kind of shows you what you can eat for a breakfast, a snack, and a dinner. And all of the recipes that are listed on there, like the Asian turkey wraps or the zucchini lasagna, Chinese chicken salad, they are all on our website. So go to the drbenson.maxliving.com, scroll right where it shows here, down to recipes, and you can search any recipe, it'll show up on there for you. So don't leave here and think, what should I eat? There are so many resources that you can have an abundance of ideas what to make for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. Our 5 Essentials book. If you don't have that book, it's wonderful reading into each one of these essentials, but the whole back half is recipes and really good ideas even for healthy desserts and how to make things without sugar and still satisfy a sweet tooth but not be inflaming your body with that as well too. So I recommend start it tomorrow. Get going on it and don't wait. You know, it's like don't wait till the next day. Like start it tomorrow. Start that process of knocking out that inflammation and healing your body. Essential number 2, we're moving beyond nutrition. You know what areas you need to work on. Maybe make a few notes of things that you know you need to clean up and things that you can work on improving. Essential number 2 is movement, exercise. You gotta move to circulate blood flow throughout your body. And it's the same thing. It's one of those things, it's your choice. You can either decide, do I work out today or do I not? Do I help my body by increasing my circulation and my blood flow to help knock out inflammation? Or do I just sit on the couch? Do I sit at my desk all day at work, or do I get up every 5 minutes and do a lap around the office and keep my body moving? On a conference call, do I just sit there, or do I take it and walk around as I'm on the conference call? And like, these are choices that you get to make, but you need to recognize it's a decision. And your decision is either helping to fight inflammation, or a sedentary lifestyle when you're not moving is creating systemic inflammation in your body. You're either promoting it or you're reducing it. Exercise isn't just about weight or how you look, it's a powerful tool to reduce inflammation. So regular movement helps your body become more sensitive to insulin, helps manage your blood sugar better, and then it also helps lower inflammation. It also improves your brain function by boosting your mood, and it lowers interleukin 6, which is an inflammatory enzyme in the body as well. So simply put, moving your body sends healing signals that help calm the inflammation and support long-term health. So here's the anti-inflammatory exercise formula. Is that you want to walk 30 minutes a day, every day, at least 30 minutes a day, every day. You want to strength train 2 to 3 times a week to build muscle and support metabolism. That's very important to add the strength training component in to help build your muscle and support metabolism. And avoid long periods of sitting to keep your metabolism and your circulation going. One of the worst things to do after you eat a meal, after you eat your evening dinner, is to then just go from the couch, from the table to the couch. Or maybe you eat on the couch and just stay on the couch for the next hour or two. That's the worst. It spikes your blood sugar no matter what you're eating. If you're not moving, it's gonna raise your blood sugar. So I recommend after you eat your dinner, your big meal, go for a walk, clean the kitchen, do some household chores, go up and down the stairs, maybe take your dog for a walk. If you have kids, go outside, play ball with them. Do something after you eat to help your body get more movement. And then another thing, a study that was done in, this was Lancet, it was pretty neat. They studied a lot of people that wore wrist wearables to monitor your steps and your movement, and they found that if people just did short bursts of exercise and movement throughout the day, it can equate to a 1-minute burst up to a 5-minute burst of activity. If they did that multiple times throughout the day, it reduced the risk of heart attack by between 29 and 44%. And it reduced their mortality rates as well. So how does that look? It's like you could literally do 40 squats while you brush your teeth. So it's something you do every day. And why not do squats? Or do it after you brush your teeth. Something that you do every day, pair it with a burst of activity to make it easy to get these movements in throughout the day. You could do jumping jacks after you go to the bathroom. I probably wouldn't do them before you go to the bathroom. But do jumping jacks. After you go to the bathroom, bust out 30 jumping jacks. And that's gonna count as that burst of movement for the body. You could do push-ups before you get into the shower. Do them on your counter if you can't do push-ups on the floor. But there's no reason why everybody can do that, right? And so, but it's just being mindful, being aware, and realizing that can make a big impact. Reducing your risk of heart attack or stroke by 29 to 44% by these daily bursts of exercise is wonderful. So, essential number 3 is going to be managing stress. You guys know that stress affects every area of your body. If you're stressed, your digestion suffers, your immune system suffers, your hormones suffer. You can't get rid of stress, and some stress is actually beneficial. Kind of puts a little pressure, helps us sharpen our sword, right? But too much of that isn't good, right? Same thing with exercise. Some running is good, maybe a little more running is great, but if you ran 24/7 and never let your body rest, you would die, right? And so it's the same thing when it comes with stress, is that it can be good, it can help you grow, but you have to be able to keep it in check, or at least help your body handle it better. And so stress accelerates cellular aging in your body. So we often think of stress as a feeling, feeling stressed, but it actually creates a chemical cascade in your body when you are stressed. So it's actually more of a chemical signal to your body when you're stressed. It produces cortisol, and that actually is meant to protect our body and to be able to do short bursts of energy. If we were in danger, like we're being chased by a mountain lion, or have to pick a car up off a kid or something like that, it gives us that burst. But what happens in our modern society is we always have these chronic stressors. Our cortisol is always being released, and it keeps our body in kind of that attack state, that inflammatory fight or flight state with that as well too. So chronic stress actually shortens your telomeres and your DNA. It speeds up your aging. You will die earlier if you're chronically stressed, and it increases your risk for disease. So if you feel like I am doing all the right things, I eat right, I exercise, but I'm still not where I want to be with my health, then guess what? Your body may need to handle this essential, which is how to help your body handle stress better, decrease your stressors with that as well too. Your body can't heal if it's in a constant stress state. So how to rewire your stress response? One great thing is doing gratitude journaling. Really helps to lower the stress response in the morning. Write down, the things that you're grateful for. Write them on a piece of paper. Breath work, and you can do vagal tone training. I'll talk about that in a minute. But heart rate variability reduces stress. Exercise reduces stress as well too. You can do box breathing. It's very beneficial for reducing stress, as where you focus on your breath and you really focus on you inhale for a 4 count, you hold it for 4, and then you slowly exhale for 4. That helps to trigger your vagal nerve and get you out of fight or flight and lower your cortisol, lower your stress response. You could do that for 10 times or a couple minutes. Really work on your breath work. It's very powerful. Here's 3 other ways to stimulate your vagal nerve to help your body with stress. Like I talked about, deep breathing, belly breathing. You intentionally focus on breathing in deep and expanding your belly, holding, breathing it out. That lowers your stress, and it lowers your stress response. Cold exposure in the shower. Put cold water on your face and on your neck, and that triggers that vagal nerve, and it lowers that stress response in your body. You can do it before the shower or at the end of the shower, but that cold water exposure is great. And this is really neat. Humming and singing stimulates your vagal nerve. So just humming your favorite song or singing helps to get your body out of that fight or flight and calming that vagal nerve, and which will also reduce inflammation in your body as well too. So essential number 4, we want to clear the toxins out of our body. We want to remove the toxins, what we're putting on our body. We want to clean up a lot of our products, our deodorant, our toothpaste, our shampoo, our lotions. Switch to brands that aren't loaded with chemicals. And then also, when you eat clean, you naturally detox. When you're eating more fruits and vegetables and good protein and healthy fats, it opens up your body's detox pathways. So does exercise. So does sweating. These things all work accumulative. So when you're doing one, they each kind of work on supporting and benefiting and making the other one even better with that as well too. But most people, their detox pathways are clogged. So doing things to help support natural detox is beneficial. Sweating 2 to 3 times a week minimum is very important. I like to do a sauna, get in there, get a good sweat. Helps with your detox, helping your body to detox through your skin as well too. Other thing is watch out for glyphosate. This is one great thing as well. When you cut out a lot of the packaged food, the processed food, the wheat, you're also reducing a lot of your glyphosate exposure as well. BPA in plastics, heavy metals, and water and fillings, and maybe even mold in your home. A lot of these things can create this toxic environment in our body that also drives inflammation as well too. So, like I said, drink lots of water. Half of your body weight in ounces of water a day really helps to flush your body. You want to poop daily to help detox your body as well too, and then try to sweat 3 to 5 times a week as well to just help your body naturally detox better. Okay, essential number 5, we want to restore our nervous system. This is the system that runs and controls all other systems. If there's damage on your nervous system, it will create inflammation in your body. So if you can imagine, I dropped spine, but you can imagine somebody gets in a car wreck, even if it's 20 years ago, and their spine shifts. And it's like maybe the pain goes away after a few weeks, but their spine is still shifted. It's creating pressure on the nerves in their neck, and it's affecting how their brain and their body communicate, and that can create inflammation from that nerve interference in the body. And you ultimately can't judge your health based on how you feel. You may think, well, I don't feel too bad. Well, everyday people don't feel too bad, and they have a heart attack, they have a stroke, they get a cancer diagnosis. It's like you can't judge your health based on how you feel. You have to actively know you're doing things to keep your body in a healthy state. So if you forget everything else tonight, remember that your nervous system, it runs the show. It controls inflammation, it controls healing, it controls digestion, it controls your vagus nerve and your stress response, it controls your detox, and anything that interferes with your nervous system, meaning your spine out of alignment, it affects that inflammation. So ultimately know that chiropractic isn't just cracking backs. I hope you guys understand that. It restores clear communication to your brain and your body. It removes interference from your spine and your nervous system. That's what chiropractic truly does. And so when your nervous system is clear, your body can heal the way it's supposed to, it can regulate, it can function without chronic inflammation. And it's not about treating symptoms or managing pain, it's about unlocking healing by removing that interference off the nervous system. And so for a lot of people, chiropractic is the missing piece, right? You guys all get adjusted, but how many of your family don't? And your friends don't? And your kids don't? And it's like, it's that missing piece. If their body isn't connected on the inside and there's interference on their nervous system, that still can drive and create inflammation in the body. How this works with inflammation is there is something called your HPA axis in your body. It regulates your immune system, it regulates inflammation. That's controlled by your CNS, your central nervous system. So if there's stress on your central nervous system, with your spine being out of alignment, it can affect this HPA axis and your immune system and keep you in a chronic inflammatory cycle as well. So inflammation, people have been adjusted and they've done studies on people, and after adjustments, their tumor necrosis factor goes down, which is a marker for tumors and cancer. Their interleukin goes down and their C-reactive protein goes down with just getting adjustments. Isn't that pretty cool? Right? So that's one thing that, like, if you guys are getting adjusted, know that every time you get adjusted, it's helping your body heal. It's regulating the nervous system. It's calming these inflammatory markers in your body. So when you get adjusted, it actually stimulates your vagus nerve, and it helps to put you back in your parasympathetic and out of your fight or flight mode. It lowers your cortisol, it improves your heart rate variability, and it reduces inflammation. Your adjustments are so powerful when it comes to healing your body. I wanted to have one of my patients share testimonies. So Carla, if you want to make your way up here, just to kind of share, every day I get to work on patients and I get to hear, I'm able to do things that I wasn't able to do. I feel better, my body's moving better, I'm getting healthier. But I wanted you guys to hear some of these amazing testimonies when it comes to getting healthier and getting their bodies working better with that too. So Carla, everybody welcome her up here. started in our office. It's been 2 months.
2 months,
Two, maybe not quite 2 months.
Yeah, close to
Yeah,
it.
2 months. Okay. So I would love for you to share a couple things.
Okay.
How your body is healthier with your adjustments, things you notice with how you feel, you and your husband. But then also I'd like you to share your nutrition changes that you guys have been working on and how you know that also helps your body too, with that kind of a lifestyle.
Yeah. You're kind of going to start backwards from the way
Okay,
you
fine,
said
yeah,
it.
that's fine. Go ahead.
I'm going to try to really condense this because there is a lot. But basically, in my 20s and 30s, I was an elite athlete. I was a national level bodybuilder competitor, and I was also a sprint distance triathlete. I tried to eat the things I was supposed to, but if I wanted a donut, except for the bodybuilding, I couldn't. I would eat a donut, because I was eating healthy otherwise. Never really thought about it. And then around 40, I quit, said I don't want to do this anymore. And I was like, oh, I can eat a donut whenever I want. Oh, I can eat this. Oh, I can eat that. And I also quit working out. And over the next 17 years, I pretty much doubled my body weight, 5 pounds at a time, 2 or 3 pounds at a time. I had arthritis in my lower back I had compressed discs, but it got worse and worse and worse over time as I gained the weight, as I was eating all this stuff. And actually my husband, about 12 years ago, got really, really sick. And we went to all kinds of doctors, nobody could figure it out. We finally found a doctor who said, change how you eat. So we started and eliminate toxins. So we started doing that. He also did a test on him and found out that he had outrageous levels of toxins. Toxins that you don't think about, from plastics, toxins from our dryer sheets, our detergent, everything we used, So we eliminated all of that, and I eliminated it too, and just by doing that, within maybe a month, everybody's like, did you lose weight? You look like you lost 20 pounds. My neck shrank, I went down a ring size, I went down a shoe size, only from doing that. And then over time, we started changing, the foods and all of that because, we're trying to get them healthy, right? So I was eating healthy foods and we switched it to like grass-fed and all of that. And it's like, well, it's so expensive. But if you think about it, it's really not, because we went through a stage where I had lost my job and I was like, oh, I can't afford to buy it. So I went back to getting the other meat. And what's really funny is I could buy a pound of ground beef and we were all still hungry. And it was $1.99 a pound, but I can buy the $6.99 a pound grass-fed ground beef. We can each have 1 burger and it fills us up. So that was proof to me that it was worth, because I actually spent less money in the long run, but we don't think about that because you see the price in the store. So I want to share that. If anything else, I want you to realize that it is in the long run not as expensive as it sounds, because you do end up eating less, because it does give your body the nutrients, and it also doesn't have the addictive things in it that makes you want more and more and more. So there's that. But then, I don't know, a couple years ago, I had come into her office in 2018,
Yeah.
and I was at my highest weight then, and but at that time I couldn't afford to do the adjustments, and I had been going to chiropractic for years, right? But they were just adjusting for my symptoms, and I felt better, so I didn't think anything about it. And then about 2 years ago, I decided, because everyone in my family has really pretty much died between the ages of 45 and 62, and I'm gonna be 59 next month, and I went, I have to get serious about this. So I really went back to and I was eating the healthy stuff, but I was eating too much of it, and I was also eating a donut here, and a beer there, or whatever, right? So I wasn't doing it the way I should have. And so little by little, it took me 2 years, I lost almost all of that weight that I had gained over the 17 years. But what also happened was I started feeling better, healthier, went off some of my medicines, and then I was able to come back in and started getting adjusted. And after my very first adjustment, the only reason really at that time, I was desperate. I was like, I don't care if I have to take out a loan, whatever I have to do, I have to go here. Because I was going to a chiropractor who got sick, and he couldn't see patients unless you were actively in pain. Well, I wasn't actively in pain, except it was 3 or 4 months, and then I was actively in pain. And so I was kind of desperate when I came in here. My first adjustment, I was like, wow, And ever since then, every adjustment, I just feel so much better, so much better. And so I think that was the last piece I kind of did it backwards.
Yeah.
Did all the other stuff first, and I didn't realize what a huge, and what's funny, you'll notice, you probably have heard me, and it's really funny that you asked me to talk about this the day after I did this, but you've heard me probably clear my throat a lot, and it's because I didn't realize I had done that for years, and it was because of the grains and all the things that I was eating. Well, on Sunday, went to help some friends, thought I was gonna be there 3 or 4 hours, because I usually take food of my own when I usually have backup snacks in my car, but I had already eaten them, and like nuts and good things, and so I was pretty much starving after 12 hours of being there. Well, it was about 8 hours of being there, and so I said, well, I'm gonna eat something. They had nothing that was not full of all of that stuff. So I've noticed now my drainage, which went away, and I haven't had it for years, I'm sitting back there clearing my throat and having that drainage, and I know, and that's the other thing too, you don't notice the difference right away, because you still have lots of things in your body. So, even with the chiropractic, I think if I would have come and just to her first, but I didn't do any of those things, I would have noticed a difference, but I don't think it would have been as major as what it was, because it's all the pieces together. I firmly believe all of that is necessary, and it also is a mindset shift. You think, oh, well, I lost the weight, now I can eat what I, well, not really, because it's not about the weight, it's about the health. So anyway, I feel so strongly about it that I was like, anybody that needs help or, whatever, like I'm telling all my friends, my husband he's like, I have no back pain. He was diehard, dead set against it. He's like, I don't need to go. I was like, but because I go, you can get your, what's it called, evaluation free? He's like, I'll get the evaluation. And he wasn't gonna do an adjustment, but somehow it just sort of happened. And he was sitting in there and he's like, I didn't want to get adjusted today. He's like, but I'm here, so I'll do it. And then the minute he got done, he's like, wow, he had headaches a lot, and now he hasn't had the headaches, and he's telling everybody now too. So it really makes a huge difference, all of the pieces together. And she's wonderful, and you all know that because you're here.
Thank you, Carl.
Sorry, I tried to do it quick.
It's proof. If you do these things, it will work. Your body's made to heal. So when it comes to your chiropractic care, you want to make sure that you're staying on track with the phase of care you're in. If you're in corrective care, we're working on undoing a lot of times 10, 20 years of damage that's built up in your body. Consistency, frequency is key. But that typically is anywhere between your first 3 to 4 months of care in the office. Then you move into more what's called wellness care or maintenance care. It's like the retainer after braces. Maintenance care is what keeps your body tuned up. It's where you can experience all the best benefits of chiropractic with helping your immune system, decreasing inflammation, keeping your mobility, and helping your longevity long term. So to stay on that good maintenance plan, whether it be weekly or every other week, really does help to set your body up to age better, to be healthier, and to heal at its best as well with that too. Coming up in a few weeks, we have our Don't Let Your Health Fall Apart event. That's for Friends and Family Week. Any friend, any family member, kiddos that haven't been adjusted, spouses that haven't been in, co-workers that may have the same issues that you have, friends from church, neighbors, anybody can come in and get their checkup for $27 for their exam and x-rays. I had one other testimony that I wanted to share. This is from my patient Brenda. She just posted this last week or so. But she said, when I started going to Advanced Spinal Health and Wellness a little over 4 years ago, I had terrible headaches. I couldn't find any relief from them. My headaches were 24/7, and I was having difficulty doing anything. Even sleep was impossible. Within 1 week, my headaches had eased within a month and were non-existent and have not returned within a month. Since that time, I continue to go to Dr. Benson because I know she really cares about her patients and she wants them to be educated and how we can help ourselves naturally without drugs. She offers many educational seminars that are very helpful. And I've learned personally that I am in control of my own health. I'm not leaving my health in the hands of a cold, non-caring pharmaceutical company. Dr. Benson and her office staff are such a blessing to this community. And guess what? Brenda's here at the workshop. She's at every workshop. She keeps learning and just seeing your health change. And I just love that. So thank you, Brenda, for sharing that. Okay, and the last thing I want to dive into is a little bit about supplementation to help inflammation. What can you do beyond diet and exercise that can help fill in the gaps that help calm some of this major chronic inflammation in your bodies? So we're going to go through some targeted supplementations that can help. One is the inflammation and immune support. This product is absolutely amazing for helping inflammation in your body and helping your immune system. You guys heard about all the damaging effects of NSAIDs earlier because they block those COX-2 enzymes and the prostaglandins, and they block that inflammation. Well, we need inflammation. People that take NSAIDs actually end up with worsening arthritis and worsening joint pains. They take Advil, Tylenol, it makes it actually worse. So the inflammation immune naturally helps to regulate your immune system and make it where it needs to be. It helps the inflammation to kind of be exactly where it needs to be. You're not shutting it off, you're not blocking it, but you're helping to regulate it and helping your body to heal with that as well. The inflammation and immune support has vitamin A, which is anti-inflammatory and immune modulatory. It has vitamin D, which helps support your immune system, helps support healthy inflammation, and it also is very good for your brain and your body. Has vitamin K2 that supports healthy arterial health and help decreasing inflammation in your arteries, and it also helps support optimal calcium for your skeleton as well. The vitamin D combined with K2 helps with absorption as well too. The inflammation and immunity also has 6 types of collagen, actually 9 types of collagen that's very good for your skin and your joints and anti-aging as well. And has boswellia extract, which is very good for inflammation, helps support healthy inflammation in your gut and in your joints. And then it has fermented ginger pomace extract, which is very good for digestion. It helps calm down subacute inflammation in your gut lining. So if you kind of get that occasional diarrhea, you don't know where it's coming from, this helps to calm that inflammation, allowing your body to absorb nutrients better by helping your gut to be healthier without a lot of inflammation. So if you've never been to a workshop, I do feature bundles at the workshop that are designed to kind of highlight the key products that really help deal with the issues that you're coming here for, all these inflammatory issues. So omega-3s reduce inflammation by 25%. So in the inflammation bundle, it's also the omega-3s. The optimal omega that we have is sourced from Pacific Ocean, anchovy, mackerel, and then sardines. And it's been tested, no mercury, they're all third-party tested, and it's been shown to be one of the best products to help decrease inflammation, improve your cardiovascular health, and also help just overall with brain function as well too. So at the workshops, we do an awesome thing for everybody that comes. I do 20% off the bundle. So this is the cheapest that you can get the products. You save the most money, and take advantage because you're here, and we want to bless you with that discount. So that Fight Inflammation bundle is the inflammation, immune, and omega-3. That's normally would be $112. With the 20% off, that brings that down to $89, and you save $22 with that as well too. There's never a bigger discount on products. You won't be able to get them cheaper any other time than at the workshop with the bundles with that too. And everybody would benefit from these things to help calm that inflammation that's been building for years and years. And it could just be that little bit of extra that you add into your body to just help that healing process. The other bundle, I know a lot of our patients are taking the Foundational 3. You love them, you feel better, your energy's better, and they are amazing products. So the Foundational 3 are the inflammation and immune support, so that's part of it. It's the digest and detox. That helps to regulate your microbiome. A lot of inflammation comes from an unhealthy gut and an imbalanced microbiome, and it helps to deal with that. It has 5 clinically studied ingredients. It has probiotic, it has digestive enzymes, and it has actually things that help protect you from glyphosate and break down microplastics as well. And it also has organic, regenerative farmed organ meat that is super high in nutrients and vitamins and minerals. The cellular health and longevity product helps with balancing your hormones, reducing your stress response. It has ashwagandha that brings down your cortisol levels. It has methylated B vitamins as well, and then it also has things that help support your healthy mitochondria to help your energy. That's one thing patients on the Foundational 3, man, my energy's better, my joints feel better. It's like, well, you're getting so much good stuff in your body with those products. It has what's called PQQ, which is a better form of CoQ10 as well, and then melon extract, which is very good for antioxidant effect of the body. So the Foundational 3 bundle, regular price $213. At the workshop, it's only $171. You save over $42 with that. So I told a patient 2 days ago, he's like, I need more of those. I said, well, you're coming to the workshop, wait, get it then, get your discount with that too. So in your handout, the back sheet is a product order form. You'll want to fill that out and put your name at the top. Don't forget your name. And then you'll put the quantity of any supplements that you want. The bundles are 20% off, but any product is 15% off at workshops. So if you want to stock up on greens or protein powder or, you know, one of your vitamin D's or something like that, this is the best time to get 15% off. And you'll just want to put the quantity of what you need along the side, put your name, and then you can hand that to Meredith on the way out. And what we'll do, just to keep everybody from being here longer and waiting in line, hand it to her. If it has your name and it has the quantities that you want of the bundles and the products, we'll fill them tonight, and then you can pick them up on your next visit. And this makes it a lot easier on our team. They're not crazy rushing around, and then they can make sure they properly fill your bundle order and then give it to you on your next visit with that as well too. So that's how you can take advantage of the products and the bundles. Hand that sheet in today. This is for tonight only, so if you want those discounts, this is the best time for that. And then I think that was the main thing with that. Pick it up on your next appointment. Last thing I want to share is something personal with you guys. We were built to last. Aging is no longer seen. All the research is coming out on longevity, and it's no longer seen as this like fixed process that we have to accept. It's now considered modifiable, measurable, and even reversible in many ways. You look at people today that are in their 70s, they look way better than the people 50 years ago in their 70s. Like, we can really work on, like, there's no better time than right now to really be your own bodies and your own health CEO and really take control and control where you want your health to end up and age the best that anybody's ever seen, and way better than your family with that as well too. So don't let your body fall apart. Step into your new story today. And here's some action steps you guys can kind of leave with. But here's my kind of personal story I wanted to share. So I was thinking about this today. I rode my Peloton and I was sitting in my sauna, and this just kind of came to me. So I'm going to share it. But I said, you know, thinking about my health personally, I'm a tough person. God made me to endure hard work. I've endured very hard times with my health, my family, and we all have, right? It's like life is legit. It throws hard punches that come our way, right? But in my practice, like, it's hard work. Adjusting 50, 60, sometimes 120 patients a day on Mondays and Thursdays for 17 years. But yet, to God be the glory, and I love what I do, and I'm passionate about what I do, but it's hard work with that too. And it's like, so I was made for this though. And so I think about this, like, I was 9 months pregnant and having contractions and adjusting like 80 patients in an afternoon shift. And then after that shift, I had a doctor's report for new patients. And I had 8 new patients starting. I teach them about chiropractic, and they sign on to their, when it gets started, and they learn everything. It's wonderful because they get to understand chiropractic. And so I was like, literally, my water was breaking and water running down my legs during my report. I didn't say anything. I finished 40 minutes, still in the office, and I called my husband on the way home, and I'm like, get the birthing tub ready, get it filled, because I'm having this baby tonight, So it's like, call the midwife, because so I know, I am tough, and I can handle, physically and emotionally, God has blessed me with just this endurance and this grit. But as tough as I am, sometimes I wonder, why the hell can I stop eating sugar? Right? It's why can I quit eating after dinner, and why do I feel like I have to have sweets? And the reality is it's an addiction, and I eat and I want more. It's one treat is never enough. You start on that sugar train, man, you're on it, and you want more and you want more. And so I think why, I can do so many other hard things in my life. Why is this so hard? But for addicts, they rationalize their life. They kind of live in a state of denial, right? My drinking isn't that bad. It's only in the evenings and the weekends. It's not hurting anybody, and they tell themselves these lies to hold on to their addiction. And so my lies about sugar is I'm doing everything else so well, I deserve a little treat, right? That these sweets are healthier because they're organic cookies, or they're gluten-free cookies. So I can eat, 5 gluten-free Oreos, at night, even though they're a healthy Oreo brand. I wouldn't eat Oreos, but I would eat tons of the healthier Oreo brand. I even think they're somehow healthier for me. Or because they're made with maple syrup or honey, that it won't be that big of a deal. And I can do this kind of secretly, and I can still be healthy, even though I know this isn't good for me, right? I teach this stuff, I know. But you can only lie to yourself for so long, but eventually it shows up, right? And you feel it. You feel your body hurting. You feel your wrist hurting. You feel the weight, and it's gosh, come on, I gotta get this on track. So last Tuesday, my husband and I, we dove in deep, 110% on our nutrition and everything. And everything I taught today, plus the extra 40% that you thought this was a lot, what we did was even more. And I'm teaching you guys things that I know you can do because I've done it, and we're doing more. And it also incorporated a lot of fasting and a lot of other things. We stopped drinking coffee for 5 days, and we went back to coffee, but only 1 cup of black coffee a day, instead of doing 3, 4, sometimes 5 cups of coffee a day with creamer added in it. That's not good, but that's what we were doing. And talk about affecting your stress and your cortisol and just driving that inflammatory cycle in the body. So from last Tuesday to this Tuesday, I'm down 7 pounds, and my husband's down 10 pounds. And the thing is the weight's great to come off. I have a goal, I really want to lose 20 pounds, but my energy's better. My mood is literally better. My joints feel better. You just feel this uplift, you feel better. And so I just encourage you guys, it's you feel more alive. So it takes focus, it does take discipline, and it takes being brutally honest with yourself. Where do I need the help? And if you don't know, ask God, pray, and you'll find out where you have these contradictions or where you need to clean things up. And if you're not happy with where your health currently is, there is a reason, and it's nobody's fault but your own, right? That's our own faults with that. And you can fix it, but it takes work, right? So let's leave here tonight and let's get to work. All right, so thank you guys for coming, and I will see you next time.